Hi, this is Win Claybaugh. Welcome to my Best of Masters weekly audio blog for AmericanSalon.com. Next up is one of my favorite clips from the last 20 years of inspiring interviews from Masters Audio Club. Masters is all about education and exposing us to stuff that we don't know. And I was quite ignorant when it came to Alzheimer's.
But everybody was, and Kate, I'm sure you could speak to this. When my mom was diagnosed, and I wonder what the story was for you, even though we had it in our family, my grandmother had died of this disease, our light wasn't on, the radar wasn't on. There's a weird kind of a shame, is probably the right word, a stigma that's associated with this, as though the person could help it. As though it's, you're crazy, something's wrong with your mind. You know, your pancreas, your liver, your heart, your spleen, your lungs, all of these things can get disease, and we seem to have an easier time. Not that any of those would be dismissed, mind you, don't misinterpret, but we seem to understand that pathology better than we do when something goes wrong with the mind.
Talking about that stigma, are there diseases or causes that tend to be glamorous? I mean, you're in a glamorous industry. I mean, here we are in Hollywood, and everybody knows who you are, and I see you on TV a lot these days. You're everywhere. And so you have that surrounding, and I'm sure that there are causes that you are asked to get involved in, and causes that will get a better turnout than others.
You're so right. Philanthropy in Hollywood, at some level, has become about packaging and marketing. And let's be real, fundraising is about gathering the most strength and beating who can beat the drum the loudest. But I remember being a young reporter for Entertainment Tonight when the AIDS crisis hit. And I was covering Dynasty that day when Rock Hudson kissed Linda Evans. And everyone was so fear-based. And oh my God, was she going to die? And people didn't really know about Rock and his sexual orientation. And here's this, horrible plague of a disease. And it was shortly after that the country woke up and began to change the way the disease was perceived and received, and I think how we arrived at where we are today, which is having cocktails and choices and extended quality of life. Still a horrendous global problem. Alzheimer's is in a certain way similar to AIDS, in that people don't talk about it, people are scared of it, they're ashamed of it, and it's viewed as being for somebody else and kind of tasteless. It's old, it's ugly, it's aging, it's not sexy. But look at what happened with AIDS. AIDS attracted the most powerful players in Hollywood, the most glamorous people. Certainly the celebrity community, I think, spearheaded our national effort to say, pay attention.
Right.
Pay attention. And not just because it was affecting what we would call our own, but because it had to be done. In your personal and Hollywood professional opinion, what role do you think Rock Hudson played in that, in putting a face on that disease, in terms of helping? It was a pivotal moment. It was an access point for people. Okay. His celebrity, the way that he was loved and respected, made it hard for people to blame. Right. It's easy to turn your face away, and it's like that Phil Collins song, Another Day in Paradise. The woman crossing the street and the homeless woman, and the lyric line is about we try hard not to see her. Right. And we turn away, and we can get away with that until it's somebody who means something to us. How do you view yourself in terms of taking your celebrity status and your celebrity name and putting a face to this disease, Alzheimer's? When I don't know for sure about that, I'll tell you what I do know. My mother, in the early stages of the disease, asked me to tell her story. And I was producing and hosting a talk show at the time, and I wanted to respect her privacy and her wishes, but she said, go make it count and use it to educate and to inspire. And I thought, okay, great, I'll do some talk shows and I'll go on Larry King or, like that. And it wasn't clear to me until a couple of years after that, when the fog really came in on Mom, what I wished we'd had as a family. And I wish we had had a safe place to go to earlier in the disease where someone could hold our hand and say, okay, here's what you need to do. Here's a checklist. Here's a printout. Here's Tai Chi. Here's holistic medicine. Here's a support group. Here's mentoring. Here's an expressive scrapbook program. Here's what we've come to know now as Leeza's Place. Here is a living room of intimate support where we will assure you that you can get through it.